John, great to talk to you. Greetings from Mississippi and Hotty Toddy from the University of Mississippi, otherwise known as Ole Miss.
Well, we know Ole Miss go Rebs, even though we can't do that anymore, right? They got rid of Colonel Reb when my son was there. I was kind of pissed off about it. All the alumni were, but it is what it is, right? A little bit of woke stuff going on, but now we're fine. And they got the best football coach, in my estimation, in the country. I'm a big fan of.
No doubt. Coach Kiffin has done an amazing job. Looking forward to football season. As you know, college football is king in the Deep South. And so we're looking forward to September rolling around, being back in the Grove there in Oxford, back in Starkville at Davis Wade Stadium. And so would love for you to come down. If you get back down this way for a game, please let me know. Would love to visit with you for a few minutes.
Listen, I've been to the Grove maybe 5 or 6 times because my son was there. Did undergraduate work. My older son Jack. Then he went to University of Nevada, got one master's there, taught there. Then went back to Ole Miss, got his second master's, and now he's in Arizona State teaching there, trying to get tenure with his PhD and all that. But when I went to the Grove, you try to explain it to people. You can't. You just can't explain it. You can see it on TV. You can take a video. You got to go there.
You're
right.
Got
to go there.
Yeah, there's no other atmosphere in college football quite like the Grove. And the saying at Ole Miss for many years, particularly before Coach Kiffin came and they were winning as many football games, is, hey, we may not win the football game, but we're always going to win the tailgate. And so they go all out. It's a great atmosphere, a great environment. Again, I encourage any of your listeners who want to have a true college football experience, come to Oxford, take in a game because when you leave, you will not leave disappointed.
There's no doubt about it. I remember the first time I went, my son said, look, get here early, get here like 8 a.m. And I'm like, 8 a.m.? The game is like 1 or 2 or something. No, get here by like 7:30, park. I'll meet you somewhere. This was the first time I went there. And so I get there, it's 8 a.m., and I think you guys were playing Louisiana State. We were playing LSU, I believe. I think that was it. Well, the first tent that he takes me into is LSU alumni. They have this massive tent with a chandelier hanging from the tent and a like 90-foot TV screen they put up, and game day was on, and they were cooking etouffee. I just couldn't, and crawfish in this big pot. And I'm like, where am I? Heaven? It's unbelievable. Unbelievable. Okay, Representative, lots to go over today. You're on the Appropriations Committee. You're also on the Subcommittee for Energy and Water Development. Let's get to the one big, beautiful law on appropriations. Are we going to get, a lot of people in our side upset, not enough cuts. We got one rescission from OMB. Russ vote. Is this going to be a continuing thing? How do you get this government spending under control?
Well, you're right. A couple things is on the rescissions package. The House passed the rescissions package, roughly $9.5 billion, very uncontroversial, at least in my opinion. Dealt with some foreign aid, money for public broadcasting. We passed it out of the House. The bill has now been sent to the Senate. The Senate has until the end of next week to pass that. And so they are discussing that this week. I'm led to believe that they are going to take that up. It will be on the Senate floor next week. I hope that they will pass it in its entirety. There are rumors potentially that they will take out some of the rescissions and send it back to the House. That would not be the best case scenario. But look, we've got to get spending under control. You're exactly right. We actually spent less in discretionary spending this year than we did last year, only $7 billion less. But the CR that we're operating under this year in FY25 versus FY24 has a $7 billion reduction in spending, $9 billion in rescissions. And we're moving into the appropriations process. We know government funding runs out the end of September. And so there is going to be a move to rein in government spending on the discretionary side. And then at some point, we've got to talk about mandatory spending, because mandatory spending actually drives 75% of all spending. So 75 cents out of every dollar is not money that Congress actually appropriates, but those are funds that go to Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, defense, service on the national debt. Those are our big drivers right now with spending. And so at some point, we as Congress have to look at tackling the mandatory spending as we also look at holding discretionary spending under control.
Michael, give me a little insight here into this. This thing is likely to get back to the House. Susan Collins came out with a statement yesterday, says she's voting to take out it's $9 billion. She wants to take out the cuts for NPR
and some of the other
POA. I mean, it's like you send this stuff to the Senate. I mean, they're going to end up sending this back at about half those cuts because they simply don't have the votes. Collins is already cutting half of it out. And I'm sure Murkowski will vote no. And then Tom Tillis is mad at the world, so he'll vote no now on everything because he's pissed off at Trump. So, I mean, how do we take this narrative on a bigger scale to the American people, how ridiculous this has become?
Well, as a legislator, of course, I'm very frustrated because, one of the things that Republicans have talked about for years now is we want to get spending under control. We want to get rid of wasteful spending. And I will say that DOGE has done a great job. The Department of Government Efficiency in cutting over $180 billion in waste, fraud, and abuse. But Congress needs to step up, and we need to codify the waste, fraud, and abuse that DOGE has been able to identify. And this should be a very easy lift. There are not programs in here which are extremely popular in many places. USAID is not popular if you were to poll that across the country. We've seen that as it relates to public broadcasting. We know in a world where people can get hundreds, if not thousands, of channels and ability to watch entertainment across the internet. It is asinine for us to continue to fund public broadcasting like we have. So these should be easy cuts. These should be things that we as Congress, this should not be hard. This should just be the first step of many rescissions packages that we should be able to pass. But we've seen that we've run into headwind, particularly in the Senate. And look, we'll pass whatever the Senate will pass. So I would love to see that number bigger. If the Senate cuts it and sends it back, I'll be disappointed that the number was not larger. But I will cut whatever the Senate will agree to, because I think that is what we have campaigned on. That's what we told the American people that we were going to do. And it's up to us now to follow through with that.
You're on the John Fredericks Media Network, Truck the Truth Across America. We're with Representative of Congress, Michael Guest. He represents Mississippi 3. Michael, give us a little feel of the geography of your district.
So mainly rural. I do have part of the capital city of Jackson, kind of the central part of the state. So I run from city of Jackson all the way over to East Mississippi to Alabama, down to Louisiana. So a quarter of the state, take up all or part of 24 counties. I do have Mississippi State University. They're my major university in the district, major military facility at Meridian. Major air base in the city of Jackson. Again, we are more heavy ruled than we are urban. And look, I represent a district that loves President Trump. They have supported President Trump when President Trump was in office the first time, and they support President Trump now. And so I have the honor to serve a great state with some other great representatives. Our two senators, Cindy Hyde-Smith, Roger Wicker. Roger Wicker is chair of Armed Services in the Senate. Both do an amazing job. And so I'm blessed, after serving 25 years as a state prosecutor, to now be in my fourth term in Congress. You mentioned served on Appropriations, also served on Homeland Security and the Ethics Committee. So a wide range of topics that I cover while in Congress. And look, we look forward to working with the president, but this appropriation cycle, this is going to be the next big fight that's going to be ahead. We knew that the president's reconciliation package, that it was going to be difficult for us to get it across the finish line in the time frame that had been set. We as Republicans were able to do that. We got it to the president's desk by July 4th. The next thing, John, for you and your listeners to make sure you're laser focused on is what's happening on the appropriations process, what happens when we get to the end of September, because we have to have votes in the Senate to pass the appropriations. You've got to have 60 votes in the Senate. It's not going to be a reconciliation bill like we saw previously. And so there's going to have to be, at least in the Senate, we're going to have to get 7 Democrats on board. And we're going to do that at a time when we're trying to cut spending and where we see the Democrats' hatred for Donald Trump grows each and every day. So it's going to be a difficult task, but we're going to work really hard to make sure that we're not looking and facing a government shutdown this fall.
Michael, if you don't get to 60 votes in the Senate, which you're not on any of the appropriations bills you pass, what happens?
Government shutdown. We could pass a CR, which is what we're operating under now. It could be a short-term CR or a long-term CR. But if there is no vote in the Senate to either pass the appropriations bills that the House sends over or some sort of continuing resolution, then we move into a government shutdown. And I think that is something that no one wants to see. Government shutdowns no one wins in a government shutdown. Short-term government shutdowns really are things when you're looking at 24, 48 hours. People really don't see anything there. But once you move into a long-term government shutdown, we are losing government productivity, and many of the programs that some people depend on are not funded. And we're also not funding our military. So that to me is something that is unacceptable, is when we have our military men and women abroad, when they're putting themselves in harm's way to defend our freedoms and liberty, but we're not paying them because we're in a government shutdown. That causes many Republicans like myself a great deal of heartburn. So we're going to work hard to get these bills across the finish line. Tom Cole is the chairman of Appropriations in the House. Tom has done an amazing job with that committee. And look, Tom's going to do everything he can to make sure that we are passing spending bills that are meeting the president's skinny budget request, that we're actually going to be cutting spending overall while increasing funding for our military and our veterans. And then we're going to have to make sure that the Senate gets in line and that the Senate takes up the legislation that we send. So Leader Thune over there has his work cut out for him over the next couple months ahead to make sure that we don't careen into that government shutdown.
So what's going to happen is you're going into the midterms. The Democrats in the Senate, you'll never get the 60 votes. So they're going to encourage a government shutdown. So then this is right before the midterms, right? No, it'll be midterms are coming up. It'll be right before the Virginia election. So we're going to have a repeat of McAuliffe in 2013. They're going to shut the government down. The Democrats are going to win Virginia. They're going to win New Jersey. You know, Michael, it's a recurring nightmare dream that you just can't get rid of. I mean, we keep going through the same playbook. It keeps happening. That's exactly what the Democrats are going to do. Any government shutdown, no matter how we spin it, we get blamed for it, even if it's them not voting for it. And so we're gonna lose Virginia and we're gonna lose New Jersey big. And it's just the same playbook they pull out over and over and over, and we can't seem to navigate our way through that, Michael.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, this is something every year as we get to end of September, beginning of October, that all eyes are on Washington and us being able to pass a budget. And look, we've done a very poor job. We as Congress have done a very poor job. We no longer pass individual appropriation bills. Instead, leadership bundles those all together into an omnibus spending bill or a couple of minibus spending bills where they run bills through together. A lot of the negotiations no longer happen at member level. They happen at leadership level. And so we have seen this same show, this same train wreck happen time and time and time again. And I'm very fearful that we're going to see it again this year and that we are going to see a shutdown because I think the Democrats are itching for a fight. Donald Trump has beat them on every piece of legislation so far. They need to be able to find something that they can stand on. And I think that this is going to be the issue that they're going to die on the hill for. Now, I do think messaging is important, John. You're right. You know, if we spin this, and we just tell the truth to the American people that, hey, Republicans have tried to pass a budget. We've tried to pass a budget that cuts spending, and the Democrats won't agree to that. That's going to be key because this is going to be a messaging battle between Republicans and Democrats if we do end up in a government shutdown.
You're on the John Fredericks Media Network. We're with Representative Michael Guest, Republican, obviously representing the 3rd District of Mississippi, Jackson through East Mississippi down in Louisiana is the geography. Michael, give us a little feel. Since my son left Mississippi, I don't have the feel for the political climate I did when he was there, obviously. Give me a little feel for the political climate in Mississippi, what you guys coming up in the midterms, your own political future. I think your governor's termed out. Give us a little insight into that.
Yeah, Mississippi, a solid red state. All of our 8 statewide office holders are Republican. Our 2 U.S. senators are Republicans. 3 of our 4 representatives are Republicans, and so a very ruby red state. We are rolling into the midterms. One of our senators, Senator Highsmith, will be up for re-election this year. She'll be running for her 3rd term in office. So she'll have the support of the president, and I expect that she will do extremely well. You're right. Our governor, Tate Reeves, will be term limited. His election, or the governor's election, will not be next year, but will be the following year. And so you'll see a lot of movement within state government as you have different statewide elected officials seeking to move up, because not only is the governor term limited, but so is the lieutenant governor. So you'll have the top 2 spots on the ticket. We'll have new individuals serving in those leadership roles. But one of the things I will say about John about Mississippi is, Mississippi has really under the leadership of Governor Reeves, and before him Governor Bryant, we have really turned the tide economically. We see many businesses now looking to move into Mississippi, businesses that when I grew up here, we never would have envisioned before. We have not 1 but 2 major car manufacturers, Nissan and Toyota, both have major facilities here in Mississippi that they've invested billions of dollars. We're becoming now a hub of data centers. Amazon Web Service has announced that they're going to be spending a minimum of $10 billion to build a data center in central Mississippi and East Mississippi. Compass Data Centers is going to invest an additional $10 billion. We're a world leader in shipbuilding on the Mississippi Gulf Coast with Ingalls Shipyard, Bollinger Shipyard, Siemens Composite. And so, look, if you look at Mississippi and the image that people may have had about our state, even just 10, 15 years ago, Mississippi is really changing. Mississippi is no longer just a state that depends on agriculture to drive our economy. We are now becoming a very diversified economy. And look, I'm extremely proud to be from Mississippi. As an elected official, one of the things I get to do is I get to be an ambassador for my state. I get to be a cheerleader. I get to brag about the great things happening in Mississippi to people like you and your listeners. And so for those that don't know Mississippi, I would encourage you to come to Mississippi and check it out. Now, don't come in August because it's hot in August. It's hot, it's humid in Mississippi. The temperature is probably one of the hottest places on the face of the earth. But come in the fall, come enjoy our hospitality, come enjoy our football teams, come enjoy just the people of Mississippi, who I think are second to none.
Well, I tell you what, I've been there many times. My son, as I said, lived there for a long time. So, but I look forward to having you back, Michael. So, are we going to see a Michael Guest for governor campaign in our?
No, you will not see me. I will be returning to the House of Representatives as long as the people of Mississippi's 3rd district will have me. So I enjoy serving in the House. I again enjoy the committees that I serve on. I think that particularly some of the work that I've been able to do in the Homeland arena is something that is incredibly rewarding. We've seen, John, as you know, just last week in South Texas, we saw not 1 but 2 ambushes of law enforcement officers there in McAllen, Alvarado, Texas. We saw 1 suspect eliminated, 10 more arrested and charged with attempted murder of law enforcement officers. So we've seen unrest in Oregon and California. We've seen the governor of California, the mayor of Los Angeles pushing back against our ICE agents trying to do their job. And so, I think now we have an important window to take advantage of. Trump has secured the border. He's surged resources. He's issued executive orders. Our border is more secure than it has been in my lifetime. And now we're going to actually be able to do the interior enforcement of going in, rounding up those individuals who are allowed in the country that shouldn't have been, and return to their country of origin. I think that is incredibly important going forward. But we're going to see pushback from the left. The left has demonized law enforcement. The left is the party of abolish ICE, defund the police. They're the party where Mayor Bass is telling ICE agents that they're not welcome in her town. And so we as a committee are going to have to stand up with the men and women of law enforcement as they are doing the job that we've tasked them with. That they're keeping us safe, they're enforcing their interior, they're returning bad people back to their country of origin, and they're protecting American citizens. And so I look forward to that role moving forward on the Homeland Security Committee. And look, as a former prosecutor, I love law enforcement. I love what they do, and I will continue to stand with them and have their back each and every day.
Michael Guest, I want to thank you for being with us. Representative Mississippi 3, got Rob Whitman is on the line. He's going to be with us next. Mike, let's have you back. Really appreciate your time today. Thank you for your insight, and go Rebs.
Go Rebs. Hotty toddy. Thank you, John.